So last week we talked about deep rest routines and it was great. It was so great. And I kind of told you guys that I've been struggling a little bit with feeling like I'm on the edge of burnout. So I wanted to kind of talk about that because what happens when you're stressed out, but you still have to show up? What happens when you are so overwhelmed that you feel like the world is caving in on you, but you don't necessarily have the option to just be done, to just walk away from things. Because a lot of us have that responsibility. So, like, if you've ever found yourself stressed out or anxious or just like frazzled, like, me too. Me too. So, I want to dive into today about how we can create routines that help us manage stress, but also bring like a lot of clarity and peace into our lives. Because that's really important. Um, yeah, I just want to first affirm you and just be like, listen, if you're stressed right now, I hear you. I see you. Um, it is sucky and it's annoying and it's really hard when you have a lot of heavy burdens on you and you don't necessarily see an out for it. Like you have to keep showing up every single day as the person that you are, that you've given other people the expectation of, but you don't feel it inside. Like you don't feel that joy. You don't feel that peace. You don't feel the patience. You just feel that ball of anxiety growing and growing, getting tighter and tighter on you. And it's in your chest and you can feel it. And it's awful. It is awful to sit with that and live with it. And stress is so freaking intense. And it can come from all different things. For me personally, I get super stressed when I feel like people are not happy with me, when I'm failing people. Um, some of the most stressed out times in my life have been focused on other people's reactions towards me or the way that other people are perceiving me. Which is really hard because I will never escape that. I will never escape not being everything to everyone. I'm going to A, fail because I'm human, but B, I'm gonna not be everyone's cup of tea. And to know that and to know that that's something that I struggle with, it's a weird tension and it causes a lot of stress in me. But maybe for you, like the stress is that like you don't have enough time in the day, or maybe it's like a really like troubling situation at work, or there's just like so many things that can cause stress and it's just exhausting. It is exhausting. So it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to kind of look at a situation and be like, yeah, this is rough. I feel stressed out about this. But it's your response and how you handle stress that matters even more. Acknowledge it, but you don't necessarily have to live in it, if that makes sense, because we can't control our external circumstances, but we can control how we respond to them. So you can totally acknowledge how you feel without guilt, but you aren't meant to carry these burdens alone. Okay. So, what does it look like? How are we building routines that release stress? Okay. Like we are letting go of our stress in our routines because we can control that. And it's essential because they create structure and stability when things feel chaotic. And I find that stress usually comes when things feel chaotic, when it feels like there's a lot of unknown. So, how do we counteract feeling chaos and unknown? We create stability and structure. That's our answer. Okay. So, whether that's in your morning routine and you're starting your day with a small walk, you're outside and you're just breathing in some air, you have something that you're showing up for regularly in your routine that you can count on and you get to release that stress. But maybe the morning is not the time for that. Okay? So maybe it needs to be in your evening routine. Maybe it's like carving out 15 minutes in your evening routine to literally just sit and have some like light jazz music playing, and you're going to sit there and drink some water. Like it is a moment that you can lean on. You get to rely on this moment because it's in your routine. And I don't know. There's something really sweet about that. You, your routine doesn't have to be rigid though. Hear me when I say that. It's not necessarily this cage that you have no freedom in. It's flexible. It's a tool that you get to use, but this structure can help reduce the stress, okay? It sets the tone for what you're doing, okay? So, what are some stress busting habits? That's what we're calling them, stress busting habits that you can add into your day and it's going to help, okay? I love a good breathwork exercise. This is new to me. This is new to me. I have not been into this. The one that I am currently trying to master. Okay, first of all, breathwork is harder than it seems. And I think because it takes up so much space for me mentally of like really focusing on it, it helps me detach from whatever the stress is for a moment. And I'm able to kind of like calm my nervous system, both physically, but then also like mentally, I'm like detaching. So I like to do the box breathing method. Okay. So it's like long inhale, short exhale. How does it work? Yeah, long, long, short, short. So you're building a box, right? And, or maybe it's more of a rectangle. And you have to like think of your breathing as a box and you're like following the lines with your breath. I don't know. Watch videos on it. It's really interesting. I don't really want to like sway you wrong because like I'm nervous that I am gonna do it wrong and then I'm gonna pass out because I like breathe wrong. But anyways, that's how much focus it takes, and it's like actually kind of hard. I love it though. So the next one you're gonna hate me, but I have to say it because it wouldn't be true if I didn't say movement is so vital for stress relief. And it can take so many different forms. I literally on my most stressed days, on the days where I like am at my wit's end, I literally just stretch. I just stretch. And it is so calming and there is something so nice about it and feeling like I try to just imagine and envision like the stress being pulled out of my muscles when I stretch. And I've always kind of had that imagery in my head because I learned about lactic acid and like how like that's what makes your muscles sore, but if you stretch it can like remove the lactic acid or whatever. Very fascinating stuff and I was very young when I learned this. And so I think of that. I'm like lactic acid aka stress. You're leaving my muscles right now. I don't know why. It's so satisfying though. It's so satisfying. Um, but also when I'm stressed, it is more often not because I've been sitting on my phone. And it is debilitating how stressful that gets. So I literally have a stressed out mode on my do not disturb. It locks my whole phone down. I turn that bad boy on and I just put my phone away. I can't deal. And that has been so incredible in my routine of like when I'm stressed out, how to like manage, I turn off distractions. I feel like for me, stress and overstimulation go hand in hand. When I am stressed, I am often overstimulated and vice versa. So for me, I don't want music playing. I don't want like a silly TV show on in the background. I don't want anything happening when I'm stressed out. I honestly don't want anything touching me. So you best believe I don't want my phone sitting there popping up with notifications, people wanting attention or time from me. I can't deal. So I will put that bad boy on so far in do not disturb and I will be done with it. So that's really, really important because I think the physical act of setting the phone down, of turning it off and putting it away is a stress reliever in itself. Because we think stress has to be handled mentally so many times, but it's how we care for like our bodies and our spirits that play such a huge role in managing stress. Because movement is medicine for the body. And I'm not even talking about movement necessarily like that means like working out or exercising. I'm talking about like physically like dismantling something, like putting your phone away and being done with it. Um, in therapy, they talk about how when you go down this brain pathway, okay? So you've gone down this thought process and you need to break that thought process. How you do that, how you disrupt your thought process is with a physical movement. So you need to start clapping or snapping or doing something physical to break that thought process. So this is like a great tactic if I am having a panic attack. I've learned this, which sadly happens I will try to ground myself through physical movement. So I will start clapping. And it's the noise, but it's the touching of my hand back and forth that it breaks the thought process up. Another tactic that actually Matt learned from his therapist was like start like naming things out loud that you're seeing. So be like, that's a tree, that's a mirror, because like the words you're saying, the focus you're putting on details, and then like you physically moving your head side to side, it's breaking that thought process up. So it's just like really, really great. And small little things that can help break up the stress. But it's important to know these signals and to be able to know, okay, yes, I'm stressed. I still have to show up. So, what are small things that I can do throughout my day? Taking a break to go refill your water bottle is such a great stress reliever to me because you're hydrating your body, you're taking a break, you're setting a boundary of walking away from something and then returning to it with maybe like fresh eyes or something. Making sure you are having regular meals within this stress is so important because you have to nourish your body. And the first thing that I don't want to do when I am stressed out genuinely is eat. I'm like, nope, I don't have time for this. But that's not something you should be pulling out. And the same with prayer, right? Because whenever I'm stressed out, I am such an action oriented person. I will make to-do lists, I will come up with plans and strategies, and I will figure things out, but I will never bring God into it unless I have a reminder to. I hate that. I hate that so much, and it's such a weakness. But I'm not supposed to go through stress alone. God's peace is available through prayer and worship and just like resting in Him. And when we limit ourselves, we choose to sit in stress, and that's just a miserable feeling. So, these are just some tips and tricks that I've been learning as I get super stressed out. And then, if you haven't yet, I really encourage you, if you are just feeling like you're living in the constant state of stress, listen to last week's episode on deep rest. I think it can really, really help because there's chronic stress that you're like living in, but then there's also stressors that are happening day to day and stressful situations and circumstances that you can't control. But no matter the reasoning for the stress in your life, you can like really, really come up with some interesting and helpful tools like these that I've mentioned to kind of reset a little bit. So I hope this helps. And if you're feeling stressed, same, but we got this together. Okay. We're gonna kill it.